Okay, I've had some people ask me different questions about what I'm using, gun chokes, shells, and not that I really think it's that important all the time. I think it's mainly if the gun fits you and you practice a little, that's the most important thing, but I'll show you what I have been using in a video just to simplify everything. I have a Franchi Affinity. Really am liking this gun. It's first season I've used it. It's 28-inch barrel, 12 gauge. Probably could have went with the 20, but I didn't. It weighs just a hair over 7 pounds on the scale that I use, and seems pretty good for carrying in the field. I've shot probably 200, maybe 250 rounds through it so far. Early on had two that didn't completely slide up in. Don't know what the issue was. They were lighter loads, dove loads, and so maybe it was something with that. With any of the pheasant and duck loads I've used, there's been no issues at all. It cycles great, works really well. I'm liking this gun. Deuce, go lay down. Deuce, get up there. Lay down. Deuce, up there. Come on. Lay down. Down. You can see Deuce wants to be in this too. Deuce wants to be in this too. He is my dog that's in all these videos. He's looks like a German short hair, but he's actually a German wire hair. Well-bred dog. He's from Griffs, Grassland Kennels. Really recommend him. He's been a good dog. He's about a month short of being 3 years old. He's starting to really figure out these pheasants. So I sometimes yell at him too much out in the field. You'll probably notice that on the videos, but I get a little excited. He does too. So we get the job done. Back to the choke tubes that I use in this. The main one I've been using most of the season. It's a Carlson. I can read that on there, I don't know. Light modified, extended choke. I've been pretty happy with this one. Seems to give me enough pattern density, and still though, because you'll notice I shoot a lot of my birds pretty quickly, so this seems to have an open enough choke. I have had a couple that it wasn't quite open enough, but I'm not a great like 50-yard pheasant shooter. I don't know many people that really are, so I try not to shoot at ones very far. I'd rather do that, you know, and have it for the ranges that I actually can hit stuff at. I started out the season with Carlson improved cylinder choke. Hope that's on there. And that worked okay, but it just felt like I wasn't getting quite the shot into it that I wanted. I guess I might have used the modified, the stock modified one that came with it, but I don't remember if I have on pheasants. Okay. The shells, I started out the season because I went to all steel shot for pheasants, not for any reasons other than we have a lot of public ground here that you have to shoot steel on. Well, I don't hunt a lot of that land, but if I do, I just don't want to have to worry about changing, you know, out in my vest what I have, and just a lot easier to shoot them all the time. This is what I started the season with, the Winchester Xpert high velocity ounce and a 1/16 3-shot. They were okay. I wanted a little more shot, and I don't know if I really need the velocity. That might be a little much, but that's what you get with any of these. So I switched over to this Fiocchi Steel Max. That's just a name they use on a couple stores around here to get. They make this in their regular Fiocchi line. It is a 3-inch load, but I wanted the ounce and 1/5. It was 3-shot, and the 1550 again. Anything over 14, I'd be happy with. 1450 would probably be where for recoil and everything, but they aren't too bad. The shot in this is amazingly different from what is in the Winchester Xpert loads. These look like tiny polished ball bearings, as shiny and pretty as can be. The Winchester ones are, I don't know, they are gray, you know, almost look pitted at times. They're almost like cast iron. It's not nearly as pretty a shot. There is a difference, I think, that this does not pull in the feathers that other shot seems to, and lead shot can really pull in, so you gain a little of your penetration back by having this really nicely polished shot instead of the rougher shot or the lead that will probably even deforms on some feathers as it's going in, so it pulls them in. I really like this. Don't see much reason to change. You know, it's seemed to have killed as well as any, you know, lead shot I've shot in the past. Like I said before, I don't shoot, you know, ultra long range birds. I'm not going to be killing roosters at 50 yards, you know, but I also seldom shoot more than 5, 6, 7 times in a day. And I mean, you see in some of my videos there's 3 and 4 shot limits. I didn't edit out any misses in most of those, so it's like I'm pretty happy with this. I'm trying to think what else. I've also had people ask me about the camera I use. It's actually quite a cheap camera. I just picked it up because it had pretty good reviews on it. It's a Lightdow LD4000 on Amazon. They're like $40, 42, 35 they were a couple weeks ago. Could have got them. It's basically kind of it's actually kind of a knockoff of the SJ cams, but which are kind of a knockoff of the GoPros. But you know, I don't want to be worried about a $300-400 camera that I might bust out, you know, hunting. So I've been pretty happy with this. I mean, it's not perfect. I wouldn't mind a narrower field of view or maybe a stabilization on it. And I see there's some cameras now, maybe for next year look at for that, but really this does pretty good. 1080, you know, it's 30 frames per second. I wish it was 60. I would do some slow motion stuff, but I don't do too much of that because it gets a little choppy like this. But it really, you got to mess with the settings a little. Stock settings and auto white balance is horrible. For some reason it never picks the right one. So if you go in and cloudy works almost all the time for the white balance. Helps if you have the HDR on, you get a little brighter colors. But yeah, and sometimes if it's really bright out, I changed the exposure, go up a third, maybe 2/3. Gets rid of some of the really dark shadows when it's sunny. But yeah, it's worked pretty good for a $40 camera. I think that's all. Thanks for watching the video.